Last week, a person who trusted the mainstream media and trusted the fact that you can successfully kill your baby with absolutely no risk to you and your life has died from that complication with the self proclaimed safe drug. The mainstream media then goes on to blame Georgia laws that would have prevented this from happening in the very first place. Also in the news, we have Israel isn't getting any better, and our president currently missing in action. During all of this, leaving Israel to deal with the situation itself as it should have been the whole entire time, but then they get condemned by America shortly after. Also in the news, we have P. Diddy getting arrested for multiple crimes. We will break all of that down and lots more on today's episode.
Facts over tracks, isn't that spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Digging right in, we actually have the third Israel thing so far within the last 7 days. So obviously we remember the fact that they blew up a bunch of pagers in the most targeted attack in world history. And then they then bombed all of the walkie-talkies that Hezbollah uses. And then now, the third time that we're talking about it, they actually released a ferry of Hezbollah rockets targeted at them, including thousands of launcher barrels that were about to fire rockets at Israel. So they bombed a bunch of targets that Hezbollah was going to use against Israel. So this is actually really good. Israel prevented the death of so many different people by targeting just the launching of the missiles instead of launching at people itself. This is awesome here. Obviously, Joe Biden is, like I said, missing in action, so he can't really say a lot about this because nobody even knows where he is. Like, where is Joe Biden? Where is Joe Biden? Was he at the beach? Is he? I just don't know where he is. The Israel Defense Force unleashed a new round of attacks against Iran-backed Hezbollah terrorists in the southern Lebanon on Saturday, conducting airstrikes that resulted in powerful explosions ripping through the night sky. The IDF completed an additional series of attacks in southern Lebanon since the afternoon, with the direction of the IDF Intelligence Directorate. The IAF struck approximately 290 targets, including thousands of launcher barrels, alongside additional terrorist infrastructure in multiple areas in southern Lebanon, the IDF said. The IDF will continue operating to dismantle and disgrade Hezbollah's capabilities in terrorist infrastructure. The statement added, images and videos from the airstrikes on Saturday included. So these are some of the videos here. We're not going to really, we may play just one of them. Let's play this one here. So you can see here on the strike, this is exactly what the IDF is seeing. So it's awesome that they know that that is a target that they're going to be shooting at. And then they go and they blow it up. So now Hezbollah can't use it against Israel. And that's exactly what should happen because Israel's rockets are much more targeted than Hezbollah's. Hezbollah's are not targeted at all. So then they just go into a building and blow up the whole entire building full of countless lives in there. Moving with this article from the Daily Wire, the strikes came after Israel carried out the unprecedented strike against Hezbollah on Tuesday and Wednesday, detonating thousands of pagers and walkie-talkies that the Israel intelligence servers had secretly built. Services that Israel has secretly built through legitimate manufacturing companies that it created as a plan that was at least 15 years in the making. The detonation of the devices enormously successful for Israel. Thousands of Hezbollah terrorists were injured, with many sustaining severe injuries that will keep them off the battlefield forever, like missing limbs, blindness. Hundreds more were critically injured, and dozens more were killed. The attack also outed numerous terrorists to their communities who have not been known that they were part of the organization. Other benefits of the attack included its minimal collateral damage, the discrimination of Hezbollah's ability to communicate, and including a state of fear in the paranoia within the organization. Israel also detonated Hezbollah's elite Radman force on Friday, killing its entire senior command in an airstrike. which is exactly what should happen. Um, these are terroristic people, and they do not deserve to continue without repercussions, which are just. Among those killed in Israel's airstrike was the head of Hezbollah's operations unit and the commander of Hezbollah's Redwan forces, who was also in charge of Hezbollah's Conquer the Galley attack plan, the IDF said in a statement. Aquil and Rodwan commanders were eliminated today. We're planning Hezbollah's Conquer the Galley attack plan, in which Hezbollah intended to infiltrate Israeli communities and murder innocent civilians, the statement said. Aquil is one of the founders of the terrorist group and had a $7 million bounty on his head from the United States government over his role in the 1983 bombings of the United States Embassy in Beirut, which killed 63 people, in the United States Marine Corps barracks, which killed 241 United States personnel, which is just disgusting because then America goes and condemns Israel, but then Israel is sticking up for America too. So I just don't understand what's going on here, because the condemning of Israel is not anything that is coherent whatsoever. But what is coherent is PDD getting arrested. So moving on with this next article here from the Daily Wire, video emerges from the moment that Sean Diddy Combs was arrested by the feds. TMZ obtained the video taken at the Park Hyatt New York Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, that showed the moment that federal agents surrounded Combs on Monday night and took him away from his posse. Agents appeared to take Diddy to a different part of the hotel for a short time before escorting him out through the lobby in handcuffs. The United States Department of Justice unsealed charges against Combs on Tuesday that allegedly he abused, threatened, or coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. Prosecutors said that Combs carried out the scheme by relying on his employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise with whose members and associates engaged in, and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, of course. Prosecutors say that in all of the times relevant to the indictment, Combs engaged in a persistent and progressive pattern of abusive toward women and other individuals. The abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. The intimidate made reference to a video that surfaced earlier this year with Combs beating his then ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hotel back in 2016, an incident that he admitted happened. On numerous occasions from the last in or around 2009 and continuing years, Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at them, and kicking them, the indictment said. Prosecutors said that Diddy engaged in lengthy sex parties referred to as freak-offs that could last days, in which he or his associates lured women in under the guise of interest in a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threats of force, or coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers. During the events, prosecutors said in arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates from the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and international. There was very heavy drug use at freak-offs, which Combs allegedly recorded, sometimes without women knowing, which is just absolutely disgusting. That this would happen because of the fact that now you're drugged. That's one thing. You're drugged. You don't know what's happening, and then you think that you're having a good time, and then you're being secretly recorded, which is absolutely disgusting. So it's about damn time that P Diddy gets exactly what he deserves because of the fact that it's been way long. He's been doing this for way too long, going untouched, and now he must face repercussions for what he did to those women. They deserve justice. It's moral to have justice that is called for. It is perfectly moral for him to go to jail for the rest of his life because of what he caused to other women. It's not me trying to bring other people down. When I talked about this at the beginning of this whole entire situation, people were saying that I'm trying to bring him down specifically because of the color of his skin for some reason. It doesn't matter the color of his skin. What I am saying is that he deserves to go to jail for the actions that he conducted. That's exactly it. He coerced a woman, he drugged a woman, he recorded them without their consent. What more do you need to actually lock up somebody because he is a sexually assaulting woman? Or if this was happening on the other side, a woman sexually assaulting a man, the same exact rules apply. Moving on to the next article here, here's how a dock worker, oh my god, I cannot speak today. Here's how a dock worker strike could upend the economy in the election. A looming worker strike could throw the economy in the presidential election in chaos in October surprise that would likely hurt Democrats. Good. The International Longshoremen Association, which represents about 85,000 dock workers worldwide, is threatening to a strike on October 1st if the union cannot reach an agreement with port ownership. Negotiations broke down in June between the union and the United States Maritime Alliance, which represents the port management, which is completely disgusting. This is, yet again, another example of why we cannot have unions in America. Unions are destroying our economy. Unions are destroying our public trust in public sectors. Unions are a disgusting waste of time and money for any organization to actually implement. It's absolutely disgusting. What unions first did when they were implemented is something completely different. Unions organized pension plans. Unions organized safekeeping for workers. Unions organized lunchtime and paid leave and so on and so forth for workers. Now, all the organizations in America that are mainstream or any government-affiliated companies actually do paid time no matter what. They have paid time off. They have sick time off. They have all of these benefits already. They don't need the union. Now, the unions just protect the workers that don't work. They cannot get fired, just like in police officers. If there's a douchebag cop, we cannot fire him because of the unions, even if the chief of police in that district wants him to get fired. That's the unions. Teachers, if they need to fire a teacher, they can't because it's a union. Just like this. This is the greatest example of yet another example in why unions destroy the economy. Unions want their their employees to get a 20% spike. But let me see. The unions want to shut down 5 of the North America's 10 busiest ports. 36 ports total along the east and Gulf coasts and cause massive supply chain issues. So if we cannot have our products in America, we blame those people and we blame Joe Biden because he cannot come to any agreement on exactly how he's going to implement how this is not going to happen. He's just not even paying attention whatsoever. But what are the demands? Like, there are no demands that they're actually doing. They just want to get paid more. Again, here, even one day of the strike could take a week to recover from, industry insiders say. A strike that lasts a week could take several weeks to catch up, and the effects of the strike could last several weeks, would be felt well into 2025. Meanwhile, retailers will suffer shortages throughout the holiday season shopping, their busiest time, which is absolutely disgusting. Because now what? Nobody can get Christmas gifts because some union is being selfish for their organization. How about you come to an agreement and say, listen, if you need a 10% raise or whatever, let's do that. But now they're demanding all these astronomical things that these ports can't even supply these workers. There's no possible way in the year 2024 they're not getting paid fair wage. They're not getting paid what they are supposed to be. They do, but they want to get paid more. And the unions don't want to hear it. They do not care about America being short on all of its products. They do not care about any of that. As long as their people can just make some more money, and all of the people that the unions represent go and pay union dues and union fees, which go directly to the union members that are part of that, the union heads, and then they're just cashing in without even working. That's their job. Like $200,000, $300,000 a year. There you go. That's your job, taking from the working class people. And then now you're going to dictate whether they can work or whether they have to protest. It's absolutely disgusting why the unions take control of businesses like this when, of course, unions don't have the interest of the business at heart. They have the interest of the interest of the workers at heart. This is exactly why when we go and we pay $50,000 for a car, let's just say, that's exactly why we are paying so much, because it's union workers that are putting together these cars. Sometimes in China, then you can get a little bit of a better deal on the car. But let's just say the computer chips, that go inside of the car come straight from Japan. So we don't, so we don't have to actually pay as much for that because it's all cheap labor up there, which is not good. So there has to be an in between here. There has to be a give and you take. So the unions did not fix that whatsoever. I mean, I just don't understand where people are coming from in that aspect. So, with that being said, we do have another article. We have Kamala Harris repeatedly lies and blames pro-life laws for Georgia woman's death. So, Vice Presidential President Kamala Harris reportedly claimed on Friday that Amber Thurman died because of Georgia's pro-life law protecting unborn babies, falsely stating that Thurman's doctors could have gone to jail for providing Amber the care that she needed. Under the Trump abortion ban, her doctors, this is her quote, not mine. Under the Trump abortion ban, her doctors could have faced up to a decade in prison for providing Amber the care that she needed, Harris claimed on Friday. As she spoke to the Atlanta, Georgia, understand what a law like this means. Doctors have to wait until the patient is at death's door before they take action. Harris was referencing to a Georgia woman who died due to complications with the abortion pill that she already had, mifepristone, which actually, if we were to get technical here, that the Mass governor, Governor Haley, Maura Haley, is actually putting out there for more and more people to get. So mifepristone is not a safe and effective drug that you can just use just like Tylenol. It's nice and safe. No. What happens is you take the pill, it kills your baby inside, and if you don't go through the proper treatment afterwards, then the baby's dead skin and all of the stuff inside of you just stays inside of you, and you get an infection and you can die. That's exactly what happened. But there is no laws in the United States that prevent doctors from exercising their medical judgment and treating women experiencing pregnancy emergencies. Georgia significantly and specifically allows doctors to perform an abortion if a physician determines it's reasonable medical judgment that a medical emergency exists. Harris repeatedly categorized Thurman's death as a direct result of Donald Trump's pro-life policies, though Trump did not have anything to do with Georgia's 2019 law protecting unborn babies with a heartbeat. And not only that, but she didn't even get the abortion in Georgia. She got the abortion in North Carolina. So it just does not even make any sense. So you go to a different state, you have an abortion, then you go back to the state that you came from, and now you're blaming the state that you came from? It doesn't even make any sense. You didn't even do the procedure there. What they're saying, well, if you just killed her baby here, then she wouldn't have to go to another state. Well, don't do it at all. It just doesn't make any sense. There was no reason why she should have killed her baby. Number one, because it was not a rape. It was not anything like that all of these people are saying, well, what if she was? No, that's not the case, because they would have said it in this article. They would have said it all over the mainstream media. They would have said it. It's not true. That's number two. Number three, there was no reason why there was any threat to the life of the mother before she had mifepristone in her body. So she should have just continued the labor. She should have had the baby, and then she should have put the baby up for an adoption so the baby could actually have a chance at life, and she would have had continued her life. Andy and Candy deserve to be thriving together with their children today, she added. We stand with the state attorneys general who continue to fight for a woman's health and safety, and we call on every state to take action against deadly misinformation. Inbridge Scrupp, a board-certified OBGYN who serves as director of medical affairs at the Charlotte Loiser Institute, argued that Thurman's and Miller's deaths show how dangerous those self-managed abortion drugs are. And we have been warning for years. Yet the FDA has steadily removed inpatient safeguards on these drugs, allowing them to be ordered online and delivered in the mail without a single in-person doctor visit. Scott said, both women suffered failed abortions requiring surgical treatment. Amber died from a sepsis, a complication the FDA alerts physicians to watch out for in its black box warning on mifepristone. Physicians must be aware of this risk and swiftly intervene. Scott also argued that misinformation is to blame for the woman's death rather than pro-life laws that protect them and their children. Candy's family states did not seek medical care because she was worried about the prosecution, but every pro-life law prohibits prosecution of women for seeking an abortion. Schkupp said. Internal international misinformation by pro-abortion media regarding criminal penalties and claims that abortion drugs are safer than Tylenol frighten women so they cannot seek medical care when they do suffer complications like severe pain or heavy bleeding. Neither the White House nor Kamala Harris responded to the requests for comment. Of course, because they want to have their mainstream media push that they want, but they do not want to actually talk about the fact of the matter. And that fact of the matter is that if you just left your baby alone, exactly what's supposed to happen, because there's no complications anyway, then you would have been 100% fine. But of course, they do not care. They want to do what they want to do. They say my body, my choice, and they do not want to hear any of that, which is just absolutely appalling and disgusting. With that being said, we're going to sum up this episode right here. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, I do upload new episodes of the show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye.